Alright. What's up guys, Josh Garza coming to you with another video. Me and my dad, as you see, the last video you met him, we had a great weekend. He's pretty much chilled and and we worked out every day, huh?
Yes, we did.
Kicked his ass, you know how I do. So yeah, we had a great weekend. It's pretty much chill and just worked out, trying to get those games back. So did that. Alright, and so I just wanted to do this Q&A, just have my dad have some insight on, he was in the Army, so have some insight and his knowledge. He's like, how old are you, 66? No.
54.
54, my bad, he's
54.
He's 54, so he was in the Army, so I want to give some insight on him. He's a parent of, so I had 2 sons go in the Army, so I'm going to ask him a few questions. But first I'm going to give you a little family history. So my grandfather, his dad, was in the Army.
Yes.
He was in the 101st, back when they were airborne. So he was airborne. My dad was in the 172nd in Alaska when they had like 2 battalions, only 2 companies were airborne, so it's pretty cool. That was back in Alaska. When was that? How long ago? When did you join?
1981 through 1985.
Alright, so that's when he joined. My brother, Deniso, I talked about him before. He was in the 173rd over in Italy. And me, I'm in the 82nd Fort Bragg. So it's pretty cool. I'm a 3rd generation paratrooper, me and my brother. So the whole family, all the guards, it's all paratroopers. Pretty much covered every airborne unit, so it's pretty cool. So I want to ask my dad some questions. So I got my little iPhone here, so I'm asking some questions. So your overall army experience, how was that? How would you put that into words? For 4 years, 4 years, right?
Yeah, I served for 4 years from 1981 through 1985. Right out of high school, 18 years old. My overall experience, it was good. It was good. I was sent up to Alaska. Here's a boy from East LA and Los Angeles, California. I'd never been in the snow, and they throw me up in Alaska.
It's cold.
Cold. And I'm hanging out with all these guys from North Dakota, Michigan, Minnesota, and it was an experience. But my whole experience in the military, I was not deployed. I wasn't in war, so it was different than my son.
Different experience.
Yeah, different experience, but overall, I had a good experience. I mean, I think about the good stuff now, but I remember a lot of the BS and a lot of the suffering that we also went through. But overall, I look at my military career experience with a lot of pride. I follow my dad's footsteps. He was a paratrooper, and I'm very proud to have served and to protect this country and serve. I'm very proud to be an American, very proud to be a paratrooper.
Alright, so what did you gain from the Army when transitioning from a soldier to civilian? So how did the Army help you to become civilian?
Well, I've been in June, I'll be 30 years as a fireman for the city of Los Angeles. I'm a fireman, and the Army helped me the most with my confidence, with my self-esteem. When they asked me, what makes you think you can be a fireman, when I went for an interview and for the fire department, I kind of laughed and I said, with due respect, there is nothing that you put me through that I know that I cannot accomplish. As you guys know, when you're out there in the field, in the woods, in the rain, in the snow, suffering, you got to dig deep, and just the confidence. There was nothing that I could not accomplish. It opened my eyes, and I think the biggest thing, it just opens your eyes and the confidence that it gives you to deal with the outside world and start your career and get into civilian life.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The Army has really helped me, like the experiences I went through and just dealing with just like like you said, like just suffering, being out there cold, thinking about, oh, what is my friends doing right now, probably partying, and I'm out here in the woods again, just sucking, pretty much, and that really helped my mentally, just physically and mentally strong, like I pretty much, if I set myself on a goal and I want to attain it, I know I can do it. Just it's nothing, So I agree with, I very agree with that. So, what was the hardest thing you had to go through or deal with when you were in the Army?
Well, initially, the hardest thing was, I hate to admit it, but I was a mama's boy. My
I'm a
dad,
mama's boy too.
my dad died when I was 2 years old, so I was raised without a father. So didn't realize that I was a mama's boy. So I go into the military, and all of a sudden, mama's not there to take care of her son. So that was one of the hardest things that I had to adjust. Second was the environment in Alaska. I have never been in the snow. I have never
Can't imagine.
slept in the snow. I have never shoveled snow. That alone was an experience. So in the environment up in Alaska, the harsh environment, jumping in the snow, living out there, being out there for 2 weeks. I was in weather minus 60 degrees. That's how cold it got with the wind chill factor. So that was the hardest thing that I had to deal with in the Army.
Yeah, I'd say same thing. Like you was like, imagine an 18-year-old kid, you know, going from Los Angeles, you know, warm, not having no worries, just, you know, la-di-da-di-da, not worried, and going from this to the Army is the biggest shock you ever go through. Your life is going to change. That's for me too, was the biggest shock. Like, you know, I was civilian, and then I was in the Army world, and I was like, what the heck, what did I do, you know?
And you were living on the beach.
Yeah, and I was living in the beach before the
Southern
Army, so I was
California.
living in the beach, and I went from the beach to the Army, and I was just like in like the biggest shock. Like, what did I get myself into? So just adjusting from that to that is that's the hardest thing I would have to say too. Okay, like I said, my dad's has 4 kids. Me and my brother were both in the Army too. So, and so I was never deployed too. To put that out, I was never deployed. The only person I was deployed was my brother. He did 2 tours in Afghanistan. He's a beast. He's the beast. He's the boss. So I'm gonna say, as a parent, what was it like having your 2 sons join the Army?
Well, first, Dionisio, you know, he went from graduating high school, and 6 months later, he was getting shot at in Afghanistan. I know not just because he's my son, but Dionisio Garza, Agustin Garza, was a beast. Was a soldier you would follow. Very, very proud of him. His friends have talked to me and said, if it wasn't for your son, I don't know where I would have been, or I might be dead. Very, very proud to have my both sons in the military. My son Dionisio said, Dad, freedom is not free. When the first time he came up to me and said, Dad, I want to go into the military. And I go, son, as a father, things change. And when he said, Dad, I want to go in the military, I told him, you know, there's a war going on. He says, Dad, freedom is not free. And Joshua here, when he signed up, when he went in there, you know, we're still talking about deploying, that we're deploying, and he also signed up when there was a war going on. And I'm very, very proud of both my sons. Of course, as a dad, you worry. It's a whole different feeling. I really didn't want them to serve because I'm a dad, and I know what they were going to go through, but I'm very, very proud of both of them. And of course, my older boy, Dionisio Agustin Garza, I lost him to PTSD 6 months ago, and it's hard. But I'm very proud of them, both very patriotic, and airborne all the way. Whoa!
Damn right. I know you guys heard me talk to my brother before, like my dad. It's been the hardest thing that we had to go through. He was my, I looked up to, he was my big brother, so I always looked up to him. You know, he's pretty much the reason why I joined the Army, you know, kind of followed in his footsteps, and I always wanted to be like him, you know. I'm always, he motivates me, you know, he's everything, you know. When I get back home, I'm getting his name tattooed on my arm, you know, just honoring him. You know, I just wanna go through life honoring my brother. That's, you know, he was, you know, he gave his life for his country, you know. So that's the real. I can't even explain it. I can't even put into words almost. So, yeah, very proud too. So I know the Army's changed a lot. From when you were in and came to visit me for this 4-day weekend to coming to visit me, you know, seeing the Army when you're back, what, 40 years ago? 40, 30 years ago? 50 years ago?
35 years ago.
35 years ago. You know, seeing it back then and seeing how I live and seeing you know, how everything around here, how has the Army think you changed, you know?
Well, it definitely has changed. Just the simple things like a cell phone. I didn't have a cell phone back then. You call home. You use a payphone, and I remember my mom could not afford me calling every week or every other day. So I used to call her once a month, collect. That from I see here on base where you have Burger King and Subway, and it's a whole different. All the fast food eating places here. In my barracks, we didn't have. I didn't have a TV. I didn't have, like I said, a cell phone. I see a lot of changes. Not that I mean, that stuff is good to be able to communicate and stuff, but as simple as like in this room, I had to share a room with 3 guys, the same bathroom, and my son here has his own individual little room, which is kind of nice, and they share a little kitchen out there. But I see a lot of changes. Just the uniforms, the equipment. We just had basically fatigues, and our web gear and our gas masks. But I see these guys now that've got knee pads and night vision goggles and all this high-speed gear, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely changed.
But I see a lot of changes. Right now, I can't think of all the changes, but I see just driving around here on post and. But some stuff never changes, that brotherhood with the guys, that love, that brotherhood, I still see it there. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's true. So this will conclude the questions asking. You're going to see a lot more of this guy. Actually, I got 4 months left in the Army. On February 12th, I will have, oh no, what's the date today? Yeah, February 12th. February 12th, I have actually 3 months. So pretty much I have 3 months and some change. So, and I'll be going home, living with this guy. So you'll be seeing a lot more of this guy. I'm trying to get him to eat healthy. We went to Denny's this morning. He had, I got, some egg whites, and some grilled chicken, some fruit, turkey bacon. This guy got endless pancakes. He's getting pancakes after pancakes. So trying to get him on the healthy side. So he's pretty good for his age. Though he's pretty solid. So you'll be seeing a lot more of him. Had a great weekend. I happy he came down to come visit me. It gives you like a little morale booster. To get I gotta get through this past this last 3 months. So it was cool having you down.
Yeah.
So
it was good to be here, son. Be with you and see him. I had not seen him in 6 months after he came home for my son's funeral, his brother's funeral, and you can imagine it was very tough. So I had not seen him since then. Didn't see him for Christmas. And it's been good to see you, so I love you.
Yeah, love you too.
Proud of you. And I just want to say, there's this bracelet that I wear in honor of my son, Dionisio. Like I said, he was a beast. He was a beast. Very patriotic. Just a quick little story. I remember when he was at Fort Bliss and they were going to get deployed to Afghanistan. By that time, he was a sergeant, and he had a squad. And he calls me up and he says, "Dad, I don't have enough time to go to Afghanistan. How can I let my guys go without me? I've been there before. I'm thinking of re-enlisting for 9 months or a year extra to be able to go with him." And I told him, "Son, as a dad, I don't want you to go. I mean, as a dad, I don't, but I understand. I support you." And of course, he enlisted for an extra year, I believe, and he went. And when he came back, we thought the war was over, and he was safe. So I miss him a lot. I wear this bracelet in his honor all the time. I usually have his dog tags, but when I came to visit Joshua, I took him off. I must have been taking a shower and I forgot. I was so excited to come over here and I forgot to put his dog tags back on. So
yeah. I'm getting a bracelet made for me too. So hope you enjoyed the vlog of us and this video. Hope it was, So we'll see you next time. You'll see this guy for sure in the near future. So I'll see you next time.
Airborne.